Well, Ronald, we come to an end of another long season, 2010. Everybody's packing up here at Magny-Cours, but I suppose it's a time for reflection and a time to look ahead as well. Give me an idea on how you feel 2010's been, because there's been some highs and definitely some lows.
Yeah, 2010 has definitely been a big roller coaster for us. I mean, we had incredible good races from Johnny. We all remember Assen Round, but also later in the season, Nürburgring, Silverstone. But there were also lows, and yeah, we lost it then. I mean, the two DNFs at Monza, plus Miller Park and Misano, where we had problems with the bike. That's decided the championship for us, that we could not run until the end for the championship. So all in all, we still go positively into the winter, because the last part of the season was definitely the part of Jonathan Ray on the Honda. But I'm not sitting here and saying I'm satisfied about the season, because we were all expecting more.
It was a strange season as well because of setup. If you talk to Johnny mid-season, let's say Misano, he was really still complaining about chatter. And in fact, I saw it myself as early as Portugal. What did you do, radically or not radically, to get that chatter finished?
Well, initially, like always, you try to cure the chatter with just a different setup on tires, so play a bit around with the pressures on that. You start to play with chassis, that's suspension, plus link system, swing arms, but we couldn't really dial it out. Then we had a project going where the suspension guys plus the electronics guys start to work on it, and then as quickly as it came, it was out of the bike yet. And the last rounds, the C word, which we try to avoid always in the garage, because if you speak about it, it might come. That has not been in the garage again with us. So there was no chatter in the second part of season.
You did some innovative things too. I think you actually went and did, well, you took it to like a speedway track or something in Holland and tried sort of.
Yeah, we actually did that in the 2009 season, where we went to a small oval track and just had Johnny going round and round and round until his head was completely spun around. Yeah, we just try everything to solve problems like we have, and in racing you cannot wait for a 3 or 4 months program to get things solved. They need solving here, now, before the next event. So yeah, the boys have done a massive job to get it done, and right now we are still, even ourselves, looking at where did the chatter come from, because we don't have it anymore. We have fixed some items on it, but chatter is quite, you cannot grab it by the throat, and it's not like just a grip issue or running wide issue or a throttle response issue. Chatter just comes and goes.
You've done one of the most amazing things in my mind, which is keep Johnny Ray, because he is without doubt the hottest property, I think, in superbikes. You must be very, very excited by that prospect.
Well, yeah, Johnny has been with Honda all of his racing life. He came with us with a clear plan, moving through Supersport ranks, move on to Superbike, aiming for title there, and then move on to MotoGP with Honda. That is still the plan. By middle of the season, there was some doubts that he might not be in this paddock for 2011 season. But luckily, good enough for both Johnny and us, he is with us again for another year. He's feeling confident with the bike. Obviously, a lot of development is going around him. Yeah, and for sure, in my mind, he's one of the biggest talents around. Young guy still, and it's a privilege to work with him.
Who will be his teammate?
This has not been decided yet. I think it would take another between 10 days and 2 weeks before we have finalized that issue. So no comments about that. You almost got me going.
I know, almost got you going. Well, I'm interested because, like I said, he is clearly the #1 rider, and I think, like you say, it's careful decision making. If Corsa and Haslam work together, that will be good as a combination with BMW. Honda need to do the same, and it's a question of whether you bring a superstar from MotoGP, whether you bring a young guy up from the ranks, or pick somebody not equal but maybe as talented to be a partner that can also score for the championship.
Yeah, as a team manager, obviously I want to have somebody not only for 2011 season, but also looking beyond that and thinking about 2012 season. We are all quite sure that Johnny is moving on in 2012 to the MotoGP with Honda. So by then I also need again a guy who's ready to aim for a title in 2012 with us. Because to come and do it in your first year, that's a difficult one. So you always need a year to build up and to really get the job done the year after. But all items which you just said, do you bring a big name in? Do you bring a young talent in through the ranks, which might already be within the Honda family? Do you take an experienced guy from this paddock? That all takes planning, but my aim is to have somebody ready for 2012 season as well.
The art of nurturing young talent and the egos that go with that and making the best of a rider is something that I think you've achieved brilliantly in Super Sport. Let's turn our attention to that for a second. Congratulations on winning the championship.
Thank you.
But I think it's with who you did it with and how you did it, because I know, and you know, that young man, Ken Sopoglu, has been through an extreme roller coaster emotionally, family-wise, personally, and yet perhaps the public don't know. It's been a really interesting relationship, and I would have thought yesterday afternoon was very special for both of you.
Yeah, well, Keenan was picked up at a young age, an unexperienced guy, but just talent-wise, like a rough diamond, you know. We just needed to polish him, to develop him as a rider, and that has worked really well because his working ethic is very high. He is working with the team a lot, not just thinking, I'm good and just give me a bike and I can win. No, he's also always very careful about improving himself. So yesterday when he came from the bike, obviously when you have a championship win, you are very happy. But it was kind of emotional as well because he's been so long with us, and now he's moving on for another challenge, which he's hoping to find at Moto2. But yeah, to work with young guys, from which you see the potential, yeah, we might be good at it, but it's also something what we really like. We need a rider to be fully open for us, and sometimes with older guys or very experienced guys, not taking any way away from them, but they have already closed a few roads of development with themselves.
Looking towards the future, is there anybody you're looking at? We looked at your junior team, and obviously we've seen the likes of Gino Ria has been one, Maxime Berger. Are there any Dutch guys coming through? Because I know the Dutch audience would like to know if there's any rough diamonds out there that you're looking at.
Well, in Holland we must develop on the moment even the rough diamonds. There's a few classes coming now in Holland. Garrett is partner in Moriwaki Cup, which is starting next year. So at least we've got 30 kids out there, starting from 12 years of age, from which we can try to see if there's some potential in them. On the moment, rider situation in Holland is difficult. There is a few names around. We even tested here with Michael van der Mark in the Superstock 600 class. But we really must find a widespread again of talent in Holland, which UK has done. If you see the new generation of British guys, it's just amazing how many of them are all of a sudden there and not just floating around, but really at the pointy edge. I mean, Jonathan, Leon, Cal, just three of them just blindingly fast. Tom Sykes recently, especially second half season, really coming to the front as well. And that's what you need. So they've done something really well in the UK.
Finally, as we look towards the end of 2010 and look forward to 2011, just politically, I suppose, it's worth assessing where we are in superbike terms. We've been through a massive economic recession. Ducati have announced factory-wide they're pulling out. There's been a lot of talk about Suzuki and their factory interest. How do you, from your part, you've always been, you know, apart from Honda, and you've always had a good relationship, but you do your own thing. How do you see the climate for superbikes at the moment?
Well, for sure, any motorsport environment is struggling on the moment because new sponsors are difficult to bring in. Sponsors which are already there around are maybe moving away or lowering the budgets. But the way Superbike has progressed over the past years, with having all the manufacturers here, with also looking very carefully, and that process started already back in 2004, 2005, with planning technical rules to not become too expensive. I mean, yes, we still do need a big budget, but it's nothing compared to what it could have been if Infront and Paolo Flamini wouldn't have had the vision back then to say, okay, we must keep it production-based, we are a production-based class, we also must make sure that smaller teams can still come to this world and step in and do reasonably well. So the budget here, I think, for a two-rider superbike team is anywhere between 2.5 to 4 or 5 million. But honestly, I think around 3 million you can really go for a win here. In the next few years, I feel I'm not only hoping, and I feel confident that World Superbike will not go down too much.
And what about next year for you? It's going to be an interesting season. You've got a fantastic rider. Have you got the winter and the time to get the bike and the rider combination to be a World Championship winning team?
Yeah, well, we have Johnny now on a bit of a sabbatical break because of the injuries he has. He's getting surgery Tuesday after Magny-Cours. That will take him out of racing for between 6 to 8 weeks. That is a pretty long time. So by end of November we can restart again with him. I'm not worried he's going to lose any speed over the injury he has. Then we have an intense development program for the machine. A lot of good things coming on there. And then we need to go out on track. But as we all know, also the season is starting always very, very early. By middle of February, we got to pack up and move to Phillip Island already. And we all know that at the beginning of season, you gotta take the points in, and then just by the end of the season, just defend what you have. So the start of next season is going to be crucial to us.
Listen, thank you for talking to us. I know everybody wants to go home, so thank you well, and have a great winter.
Thank you. See you.